Friends, good evening to all of you. Really appreciate your taking out time and joining us today. Uh, this is a very powerful and very simple practice which can have a transformative effect on our lives. So I invite you to spend next 60 odd minutes with us and see how this simple but very powerful practice can transform your life. This session is divided into about 60 minutes, and I'll be co-hosting this along with Dr. Nupur, and we will do our introductions in a while from now. But before we dive in, I would like to ask you a question. How many of you would like to be happier? If you would like to be happier, please type H in the chat box. Thanks, Nilofer. Samir, very nice. Who else? Prashanta, thanks, Cyril. Thanks, everyone. How many of you would like to be richer? Please type R if you would like to be richer. Wow, Prashanta. Awesome, awesome. How many of you would like to be healthier? Please type H again if you'd like to be healthier. Very good. And how many of you would like to be rich, happy, and healthy? Please type RHH if you would like to be rich and healthy and happy. Thanks, Farzeen. Thanks, Rajesh. Thanks, Cyril. Thank you very much. Friends, normally we think that we need, for being rich, we will need to sacrifice our happiness, or, we will need to sacrifice our health. In our mind, one thing comes at the cost of other. But today what we will share is a powerful practice which can help us become healthier, wealthier, and happier. So once again, welcome you to this awesome evening, and we express our gratitude. I know all of you are very busy people and have taken out time from your schedules to join us. Dr. Nupur and I assure you that we will do our best to make this investment of time worth your while. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ashish Kumar. And for those of you who know me also, my name is Ashish Kumar. I am the founder of Mindful Living. And for last 2 years, I have been working actively in the area of training corporate employees in the area of mindfulness. I have worked with the companies like Airbnb, American Express, Tata Group, CII, IBM, Kotak Life, and I'm routinely invited by healthcare organizations, insurance companies, to talk to their employees and their clients. That's the work I have been doing. I'm joined by Dr. Nupur Agrawal. She is medically trained in India and currently lives in London, UK. She's a health and well-being coach specializing in mind and body connection. She's a certified mindfulness teacher and works with cancer patients in St. George's Hospital in London. She has published articles in international journals, and her research paper has been awarded. So a very accomplished professional. Very happy to have you with us, Dr. Nupur. Before we start, would like to set few ground rules. Please keep your notepad and pen handy. We would expect you to take a lot of notes as we go along. And also you can use this to write questions or queries if you have any, which we'll be taking towards the end of the session. It would be great if you could log in for this session through your laptop or desktop rather than mobile. Please keep your mobiles on switch off mode. We will need your full attention for next 1 hour. And whatever we say today, don't believe us. I would urge you to try what we are saying before you believe it. So try before you believe, and please make sure that you are in a secluded place where you are not disturbed. And if you can't be in a secluded place, please put up this D&D sticker so that people know that you are not to be disturbed. So with that, friends, let's start talking about attitude of gratitude. Leaders, I had a boss, a Scottish gentleman who used to always say, leaders have an attitude of gratitude. And I used to wonder, what is he talking about? I, of course, understood the meaning of gratitude, but I didn't understand the power of gratitude. And what my boss used to do was, the whole day he would just keep sending messages to people. You are my star, you are my champion, you are a rock star, thank you for your support. And the whole day he will just keep. And I was wondering, how come he is appreciating these people who are so dud? And but what happened? How do you feel when you receive encouragement, or when your efforts, hard work is acknowledged by people? When our hard work is acknowledged, we feel more enthusiastic, and we feel like working more. And that is what prompted people in our team and those who are working along with us in other departments to perform more and more. And we delivered record-breaking, smashing performance year on year. And my boss went on to become CEO of a very large life insurance company in Korea, South Korea. And later he was hired by one of the largest insurance companies in the world to be the head of Asia Pacific, where he held a $2 billion, he was driving a $2 billion business. So the same rule, which when we appreciate what is good in our life, that good multiplies, whether it is in business or in life, it's the same thing. The more we appreciate, the more the good thing in our life appreciates. And this is there, while I was doing research for this, I came across this quote in Bible, which says that whoever has will be given more, and he will have abundance. Whoever does not have, even what he has will be taken away from him. And this looked very harsh to me initially, because somebody who has got something will be given more, and somebody who does not have something ideally should be given, but even then it will be taken away. And when I looked at this message again, and I inserted the word gratitude, now it made so much sense for me that whoever has gratitude will be given more, and he or she will have abundance. And whoever does not have gratitude, even what he or she has will be taken away from her. And this is not only in Bible, even in Arabic, there is a word called shukran, and we say shukran Allah. In Hindi, we say dhanya ho, we say shukr. In some northern Indian states, people say shukr every time something good happens. Even in America, you have Thanksgiving Day. In ancient Hawaiian practice of Ho'oponopono, gratitude is a key part of it. So across the culture, across time zones, we find the concept of gratitude is really ingrained. We just need to pay attention to it. Most of the times, we are very, very focused on getting the result, getting the effect in our life, getting the desired effect in our life, without being much focused on the cause. But if we pay attention to the laws of the physics, to what Isaac Newton says, that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And by this law, this is a law, this is not by chance. It is not that sometimes it will have an equal and opposite reaction and sometimes it will not have. No, it's a physical law. So similarly, when we apply this law to gratitude, we find that every action of giving thanks always causes an opposite reaction of receiving. And what we receive is always equal to the amount of gratitude we have given. So every action of gratitude sets off an action of receiving. The more gratitude we give, the more we receive. It's very simple. It's a law, and it always works. I would like to explain this by way of another example. How many of you like mangoes? If you like juicy, delicious mangoes, please type M in the chat box. Wow, Samir is quick. Nilofer, yeah, we all love mangoes. Thanks, Farzeen. And is there anyone who likes, thank you. Anyone who likes bitter gourd? Karela, Kadva, Karela. Who likes Kadva, Karela? Well, few people do like. Yeah, it's a good thing. It's good for our health. But, one thing we need to understand is inputs which the mango tree gets, the earth, the water, the soil, the water, the air, the sunlight, is the same that the bitter gourd gets. So in the same soil, you have bitter gourd growing, and in the same soil, you have juicy, delicious mango growing. They both get the same water, they both get the same air, they both get the same sunlight. Then how come the outcomes are so different? What is the difference? When the external environment is exactly the same, how come we get bitter gourd on one plant or creeper and we get mango, juicy, delicious mango in another tree, when external environment is exactly the same? Definitely, very well said, Nilofer. It is the seeds. You know, what we sow is what we get. We understand this very clearly when it comes to agriculture, but it's not so clear when it comes to our thoughts. And let us see what happens when we sow negative and bitter thoughts in our life. I don't like my job. When you sow a seed like this, a seed of thought like this, will you get a kadwa karela or you will get a juicy mango? It's up to you to decide. I don't have enough money. I haven't got enough money. I can't find perfect partner. Can you please? Can everybody be on mute, please? I can't pay my bills. You know, I can't get along. Just give me a minute. My life is in a mess. My marriage is in a trouble. You know, I work very hard, but my finances never improve. These are the seeds we are sowing. And when we sow these seeds, is it surprising how the crop will be like? But it's not so obvious to us because we don't see it in physical form. It is in a mental form, invisible form. And similarly, when you sow seeds of thoughts which are, I love my job, my family is very supportive, I had the best vacation, I feel amazing today. You know, we attract more good in our life. The more gratitude we have, the more abundance we magnetize. And this gratitude accelerates our career, increases success, bring about our dream job or whatever else you desire. Gratitude is guaranteed to give results. But what is important is that it is practiced with proper guidance. Please don't mind my asking you, but how many of you have gone to a school or college? If you have attended a school or college, please type SC, school or college. If you have been to a school or college, please type SC in the chat box. Samir has been to a college, Prashant. You know, I am sure all of you have gone to a school or college. But what I would like to understand from you is, why did you go to school or college? You know, when we could have got the books, you know, we could have easily gone and bought the books and we could have studied at home. Why do we go to school or college? It's a much more economical option to buy books and study at home. Why do we go to college? Or why do we go to school? To gain knowledge from experts, to learn, clear understanding. Guru matters a lot as he will guide you in the right path to interact. Social interaction is very important to learn to communicate. I think, friends, you are a very evolved person, evolved group we have got today, and you are very, very right. There are two things that we go to school for. One is to get the benefit of experience which teacher has got, and the second is to learn from, to have peer learning. We all benefit when other people ask their doubts, when they ask questions. So it's a group learning, it's peer-to-peer learning, and that energy helps in our learning. So when we study with proper guidance in a concentrated way over consecutive days, the gratitude is guaranteed to give you results in the area of money, health, and relationships. So how many of you would like to be a part of a vibrant magic of gratitude community? If you would like to be a part of a vibrant magic of gratitude community, please type MOGC. By being a part of this community, you will get to learn and benefit, from the combined wisdom of two very experienced teachers, and pure learning and so much of sharing that will happen. Thank you, friends. That's very encouraging to hear from you. And with that, we will now move on to the first section of our presentation, which is about money. And here we will share some very simple secrets of making money, and these simple but very deeply researched secrets. So if you would like to learn about the secret of money, please type SM. But if you would like to know the story of money, please type SM. If you would like to learn the secret of money first, type SM. Or if you would like to know the story of behind the money, type SM. Thank you. So guys, you are having fun? If you are having fun, type HF. Yes, so very good. So, okay, I'll share the story first and I'll share the secret with you. Mr. Ken Honda is a very accomplished author. He's a best-selling author. He's from Japan. He's from Japan. And, he has done deep research in the area of money, and he's authored this book, Happy Money. For writing this book, he interviewed 12,000 millionaires. Okay, 12,000 millionaires to learn their secrets of money. And he narrates a very interesting story, which is when he met a person, when he was doing his research, he met a person who had just become a millionaire. He had just become a millionaire. So Ken thought that, wow, this guy must be really happy because he has just become a millionaire. So he went and met this person and asked him, you must be happy you have become a millionaire. And this guy says, no, what is there in a million? It would have been better if I had 10 millions. 1 million is not anything. I'm not happy. I don't feel secure. And then, so anyway, Ken did his research and moved on. And then he happened to meet a person who had 10 millions. And this guy said, so Ken thought maybe this guy is very happy because he's got 10 millions. And he asked that guy, are you happy and are you secure with the money that you've got? And this guy who had 10 millions says that, no, I have got 10 millions, but I don't have a private jet. So I am not happy. Maybe I would be happy if I have a private jet. And Ken, then went on, and then he met somebody who had a net worth of $30 million and he had a private jet. And Ken thought, this man must definitely be happy. And then Ken asked him this question, are you happy? Are you secure? And this guy said, no, I've got such a small jet. It can only seat 6 people. I would be happy if I had a bigger jet. And so on, it goes on. So friends, you would get the message that the feeling of wealth or feeling of prosperity is not linked to the money we have got in our bank account, but it is a state of mind. It is the state of mind which makes us feel wealthy or it makes us feel poor. You could be a millionaire but still feeling poor, comparing yourself to somebody who's got 10 million, and 10 million guys also feeling poor because he's comparing himself to the $30 million guy, and so on and so forth. So it is important for us to appreciate what we have got. And when we start appreciating what we have got, and this is not my words, friend, this is the words of Ken Honda. You can please go and research. When we start appreciating what we have got, when we start saying, arigato money, that's the Japanese word for saying thank you. Thank you money. The abundance of money amplifies in our life. We start getting more and more money. It's such a simple technique. You will possibly think, what is the secret? Is this the secret to having more money? Yes, saying thank you to money is the secret of having more money. When the money comes in, say thank you money. when the money goes out, say, thank you for being with me, money. So the whole day, or whenever you are conscious about it, if you can say thank you, money, when you're receiving money, and thank you for being with me, money, when the money is going out, you will expand your abundance. And Ken Honda gives example of a Japanese billionaire, Vai Takeda, who's considered to be the Warren Buffett of Japan, Vai Takeda. The whole day, what Vai Takeda is doing is he's saying arigato money, arigato money. He's just thanking money when it is coming in, and he's thanking money when it is going out. So friends, it is very easy for us to feel gratitude for money when it is coming in. But many people find it difficult to feel grateful for money when it is going out, especially when we are tight on resources. But it is important for us to understand that only when we start feeling grateful for money that we have got, does the power of magic start mobilizing. It's an energy, it starts mobilizing us, and then it starts growing more and more power. So please feel grateful for money, and then that's when the abundance starts manifesting in your life. So I'll pause here to see what are your comments. And arigato money, Balraj sir, thank you very much. Arigato money. Shashidhar also says arigato money. So how many of you are excited to learn the secret about growing your money? Thanks, Amir. Who else is excited to learn? Kanika is excited to learn. Garima, yeah, Garima. But be careful about kissing money in these days of, because it's COVID time. So be a little bit careful about kissing money. But yes, I understand what you're saying. Yes, Pradnya, very right. It's the emotion. So this is one of the techniques that, we are going to talk about in the Magic of Gratitude program that we are launching. How many of you would like to learn 3 techniques to grow your money abundantly? If you would like to learn more techniques about, growing your money, then type yes or type MOG, Magic of Gratitude, in the chat box. Yes, Dr. Sunil says yes, he would like to know more. Okay, very good. And how many of you, so what we have discussed so far is about Magic of Gratitude working in one area of your life, which is money. How many of you would like to know about Magic of Gratitude working in the area of your health and transforming your health and transforming your relationships? If you would like to know more about how Magic of Gratitude can transform your health and relationships, please type BIO in the chat box. Bring it on. If you would like to know how, thanks Pradnya, thanks Farzeen, thanks Nilofer, thanks Nagraj, thanks Preeti, thanks everyone. So I would now like to invite Dr. Nupur to come and talk about how gratitude can transform health and relationships.
Thank you, Ashish. Thank you for that very exciting first half. Thank you, everybody, for your participation. So let us understand, when we talk about health, how gratitude actually impacts our brain. So there have been studies where we can quantify the impact the gratitude has on our brain. And these are the 4 key areas where there has been so much research that it is amazing to see that gratitude has a very tangible impact on our body, our processes. It wires and fires new neural connections to the bliss center, enhances dopamine and serotonin, which are neurotransmitters in our body that regulate our emotions, and a lot of other processes. Gratitude also reduces fear and anxiety by regulating the stress hormones. And it fosters cognitive restructuring because it shifts the focus of our attention from an attitude, I would say, of lack or so-called negativity bias to a much more positive mindset. Let us go to the next slide where we will see more of these in detail. Researchers have actually shown that there are certain areas of our brain where there is a very deep impact of gratitude. So now we know through fMRI studies or the functional magnetic resonance imaging, where when there is an emotion, we see the changes in certain areas of the brain. And particular area that has come into light is the right anterior temporal cortex. Now, why is this important for us? Not all of us are very scientists or biologists. If I could just request everybody to mute themselves, please. But this is important because it goes to show that gratitude has a very deep impact on our biology. And also there have been studies that are noticing a higher volume of gray matter, which is important for our cognitive functioning, cognitive or intellectual functioning, processing, being ability to be critical, logical, systematic. That area of our functioning gets enhanced. And also certain areas of the hippocampus and amygdala. Now, these are a part of the limbic system, and they are still very important in our stress, fear responses. And if these parts of our brain are regulated, we notice that emotions, bodily functions are deeply impacted, because these are also controlling our stress response. In our body, we actually have something called the stress response, and we have something which is called the relaxation response. Though stress response is actually key to survival, it has gone a bit haywire these days. And these are the, why do I say that? Maybe we'll come to this discussion a bit later. But just to give you a very brief context of what I mean is that when we were evolving as a species, our brain is actually designed for survival, because we have survived against a lot of odds. You know, there were harsh conditions, there were predators outside. So it was a very survival based evolution for us. Now we have really evolved. Now it's no longer somebody waiting out there to attack us in the jungles, or the threats have changed. As we all are aware of a pandemic, so threats have changed. Before pandemic, there was the chronic stresses of life. So you have to understand that the body has a mechanism by which it handles stress, which is actually good for it. But when the stress becomes chronic, that's when it becomes a problem. And it has been shown that practices like gratitude really have a very positive influence on our ability to cope, and therefore gratitude is actually an antidepressant. Next slide, please. As I talked about in the first diagram, that gratitude changes neural structures, and it is so important because now we know that our brains are not fixed like our height. Like we were told that when we are about 18 to 20, we stop growing in our height, unless we are athletes and unless there's an exceptional case. Similarly, it was believed that our brains stop growing. We are subject to a certain set of neural pathways. But now a concept of neural plasticity has come about through great research, which is very, very encouraging. And we know that now that our neural structures are constantly changing. That's why they encourage us to now learn habits, read books, do certain, pick up new hobbies. Why? Because that means new neural pathways are formed in the brain. And in gratitude, it is amazing to see that we create new neural pathways. And as I just mentioned about it being an antidepressant. Now, why is it an antidepressant? Because if you remember the first diagram, I talked about dopamine, serotonin. Gratitude actually releases certain neurotransmitters, and it also reduces cortisol. Now, cortisol is a very, very important indicator of stress. It is something that we actually analyze in our spit samples, salivary samples. It's called diurnal variations on cortisol level, because our stress levels are different in the morning, they're different in the afternoon, they're different in the evening and late night. So in salivary studies, it was amazing to see that through gratitude, participants show a marked reduction in the hormone that controls our stress, which is the cortisol. And as a result, there was a study in cardiac patients that by practicing gratitude for a fixed amount of time, their cardiac functioning improved. The tonality of their arteries, which is the most important thing for a cardiac function, improved. Also, they become more resilient. Now, what is resilience? Resilience is the ability of us to bounce back from challenging situations of our life, or so-called negative situations, to be able to face them and not be buckled under them, to be able to bounce back. And in people who practice gratitude, this was observed that their resiliency increased markedly. Next slide, please. So let us appreciate that our human body is actually a miraculous instrument. I'm sure many of us might have studied biology, but a lot of times we study something because we need to and we have to. But because for me, biology, medicine has been a part of most of my growing up, adult life, teenage life, 20s and 30s. So that's the reason for me, this miracle of our existence doesn't seem to exist. It just doesn't cease to exist. The more you study human body, the more you realize that you can go to Mars, but you have still not managed to build a human body. We have managed to build organs, but the precision with which our human body functions, each cell is divinity in itself. Each cell is universe in itself. So it is amazing that our body works through these trillions of cells. Our body has these organs and complex organ systems. So understanding that being grateful starts first by acknowledging our own miracle, the miraculous existence of this human body. And this is what this course is about. Understanding what really we need to start from basics, be grateful for certain things we have, our heart that is always beating, our breath that is always breathing. We don't do anything for the body. In fact, if anything, we only worry and make it more stressed. So the more we realize that in this course, we are going to understand where does gratitude and how and why should we be grateful? And that's what the human body teaches us. And that's what we are going to emphasize in the course. And if you remember in the previous slide, I talked about neural networks. Like any habit would create those neural networks for us. And that's why the gratitude course is designed for a 28-day period, because it takes, and it is seen that much time we create new neural networks. So for something to become a part of our life, a part of our behavior, something to become a norm in our lives, we are told to practice it. And that's why this course focuses on that, because we are generating and creating new neural pathways. Next, please. Also, if you understand that because I said gratitude begins at home, and the first home where we all live is our body. So to understand the miracle of the body, the various sensations of touch, the ability to see, the ability to hear, nose, all parts of our sensory experience. We are multi-sensory beings. And if you notice, even for us, there's a specialization for each organ. So can you imagine that people spend 15 years of their life studying only one organ system? How intricate might that be? But we don't even stop to say thank you to it for 5 seconds in our day. That just goes to show that once we start understanding and we start practicing gratitude, it starts impacting our body, as we just saw in research, and more is given for us to be grateful for. Whether it's ability to see, whether it's ability to hear or smell, our nose. We only look at our nose many times from a cosmetic purpose. Oh, my nose is short, my nose is fat, my nose is this and that. But do we even realize that not only nose helps us to smell, but it also helps us to breathe? The only life-sustaining act, we are alive because we are breathing right now in this moment. So understanding this miracle of the human body and practicing gratitude from something that we all can be grateful for is one of the basic things which we recognize and we build on in this course. Because you might appreciate that if everything, even if the smallest thing doesn't work right for us in the human body, everything else takes a backseat. We can't function, we can't do our work, we can't fulfill our duties. So understanding that it is the first thing we all need to spend some time and be grateful for. Next slide, please. Coming to relationships, how does gratitude impact the relationships? Gratitude actually makes our relationships flourish, but we need to understand how do we focus on gratitude, just as we need to understand how do we focus on gratitude for health. How do we focus on gratitude in relationships? And that is something that is covered in our course. Understanding that even for the sake of discussion, if you look at the people in your life and just reflect on how much time are you spending in complaining or finding faults in those relationships or those people. But if you actually start to think of at least 10 things that you can count as blessings to have them in your life, you will be amazed how your relationships will change and transform. Because the lens with which we perceive life determines our level of happiness, success, and joy. And gratitude helps us to change that lens, change our perception. Gratitude has the power to create those deep shifts in our lives, and these shifts are for good. That's why gratitude is not a one-off practice. One day you go attend a webinar and you are done with it. That's not enough. That's good as a first step. But if you want to make lasting, deep, impactful relationships, finances, health, that's where we need to focus on consistently. And now we know that through law of attraction, which is something scientifically documented, that whatever we choose to focus on, that grows in our life. Wherever we decide to shine the light, that becomes illuminated in our experience. And that's the power of gratitude, that it is a magnet. Gratitude is why we call it a miracle of gratitude, because it is a magnetic force like gravity. Gratitude and gravity, G and G, they're the same. They just pull more and more good in our life. Next, please. So saying I love you to the person, even if we will cover that, but this is worth knowing that saying I love you to people who even are challenging you, and you don't have to go and say to them on their face, but even in your heart creates shifts. So I would encourage you to choose 3 close relationships and practice gratitude towards them. Be grateful towards them. Think of things that you might be grateful for in that person. Thank them. Name them and thank them, and just be aware for what are you thanking them. Just notice perhaps 5 things that you're most grateful for that person. And you could journal this, and that's one thing we will encourage you in through the course, to journal, to document it. It could be a digital journal or actually the traditional pen and paper journal. Also to connect with that person through a photograph, or to just all of us have phones and laptops these days, most of us have. So just connecting with the picture of that person and focusing on few things that you can remember to be grateful for. Just start doing this and you will be amazed how differently you will start relating to them, and how through the law of attraction, your relationship will improve. So friends, that was about health and relationship. So just pausing to reflect, and maybe we can go to the next slide, Ashish. So just taking a pause here, having heard about the ability for it to impact your finances, your health, and your relationships, some of the key areas of our life. So just take a pause here and reflect that are you willing to take that step to create this magic in your life, to allow this gravity of gratitude to work in your life, miracles. Because if we continue on our similar trajectories, similar paths, they will often lead to similar results, as they have till date. And perhaps there's nothing wrong in it. But to say that not to be able to live to the highest potential which each of us are capable of would mean that maybe we are not doing justice to our human existence. So let's pause and see if you're ready to take that flight. Please type a yes if you feel that you're ready to create this shift in your life. Thank you, Dr. Sunil. Perfect. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. So let's go to the next section. So how is this gratitude achieved? Gratitude, as we have researched it thoroughly, deeply, and practiced it in our own lives, we have come to something which we call the three-step process. Now, in that three-step process, we talk about the magical power of gratitude to notice what you have already in your life, to notice what you have received in the past, and that sets the magic of gratitude into motion. And why is that? That is because gratitude is an energy, like light, like sound. These are all vibrational frequencies, and gratitude has a vibration, gratitude has a frequency. And gratitude, because it's an energy, it has a momentum. For those of us who understand physics, we understand that anything that is in motion has a momentum. So how do we set this momentum in gear is by recognizing what we already have. So one of the first steps of gratitude practice is to recognize how much we have in our life to be grateful for. Perhaps we have not taken that step yet. Perhaps we have not recognized how much we have achieved in our lives. And I'm not talking about just the parameters by which the world notices our growth, but I mean areas in our life where we feel a sense of achievement, personal satisfaction, personal joy. Those are the indicators. So appreciating yourself, in our paradigm, nobody tells us to sit and appreciate ourselves. It is not narcissistic to appreciate ourselves. We have to understand that gratitude, the energy has to be set in momentum by appreciating ourselves, recognizing what we have, and recognizing how grateful we are for what we have. And that is the momentum which we set in the first step. And through that momentum, as the momentum picks up more speed, we start noticing that the existing challenges that we have in our life, the existing problems that we have, or the so-called negative experience, they start to expand into a very different paradigm. We start to get insights, we start to shift our perception. And the moment the change happens within us, it is magical how our external situations change to respond to that. Again, understanding from quantum physics, we are energy beings, we are energy in motion, and so is gratitude. But not everything that is energy is seen. We can't see gravity, we can't see air, but they exist. So we have to understand that once the momentum is set in motion, it starts to impact internally and externally. And that is the magic we talk about. And it starts to create a future we desire. Because we all have dreams, we all have goals. And in this course, we help you to understand what is it that you want to achieve? What is your goal? What is your dream? Being specific about it, but just not being specific about it is enough. We need to also nurture it in the right energy. It's like if you have a seed of mango or karela, as we talked about in the beginning, but we don't give it manure, we don't give nourishment to the soil, they will not sprout. So what is the energy that you are imbuing your dreams and your goals with? That energy is gratitude. It is a game changer because it is an elevated emotion that we work from. Yeah, thank you. Next slide, please. So this is the energy chart. This is a chart of consciousness. Now this is a very, very detailed area of study. And we have observed that just like this funnel, you notice that certain emotions that weigh us down, drag us down, they have been actually calibrated at certain numbers. And these are these numbers which are in the lower part of the fulcrum of this spectrum. And as we go up, we move towards peace, joy, enlightenment, right? So this is the funnel. You know, we can all notice where in our lives are we at right now. And the good news is we are never stuck because we are energy and action in motion. But what does gratitude do? Gratitude is that lift that picks us up in the scale. Wherever we are today, gratitude is guaranteed to change our frequency and help us to rise above. And that is what's important to notice. Whether you are at anger or courage or willingness, acceptance, gratitude lifts you up into states of joy, peace, abundance. And that's what we all want. Because why should we settle for a subliminal human experience when we all can flourish and we can all blossom? And that's the intention of this course. Next slide, please. And how do we achieve this? By doing daily practices. And that's why it's a 28-day course, because each day you would be handheld. You would be given a practice and you would be asked to do. And these are simple practices, because simple is profound. And these practices gain momentum day after day. Day after day, one practice adds momentum to the next one. And though it's only 28 days, but the energy shift is beyond measurement. And we do it one day at a time for 28 days. And that's how the shifts are created, because now we are not only functioning at the physical level, but we are also working at the neural level. We are working at the energetic level. So it's a very beautiful course that takes care of multiple dimensions for us to manifest as results. Right. So thank you for your patience. I know it's been a monologue, but please, this is your time to ask questions. This is your time to get your queries cleared up. So if you have any doubts, any questions, it's your time. Feel free to either unmute yourself and speak, or you could write your question in the chat box before we go to the next phase of the presentation. Yeah, Nilofer, yeah, that's coming. Ashish will be addressing that in the next section.
Thanks for asking that, Nilofer. We will be taking up in the next section. Friends, please keep your questions coming. And while you're thinking of questions, you may also share something that appealed to you. So we'll be happy to hear your thoughts. If there is something that you liked, that will be great to know.